couple of videos ago, I talked about missing one of my recordings due to some refrigerator drama. Not that anybody noticed, fortunately, because I'm just not that popular. But without further ado, here is the object of my ire. Hello, welcome to Chaos and Controls, the show where we talk about modern devices, technologies, and techniques for automating your home, business, or life. I'm your host, the Automation Doctor, and today we're going to talk a little bit about skills of the Automaton and how they apply, apparently, to refrigerators. So, as it turns out, the refrigerator that went out on me actually isn't related to this particular component here. The one that went out on me, what we discovered was that the control board was bad, and that's easy. We'll just order a new control board in. And it's a $250 control board for an 11-year-old fridge. Yeah, okay, fine. So instead, for $165, went out and bought some dude's old fridge that seemed to be working just fine, got it home, lo and behold, the freezer works and the refrigerator component does not. Now, this video, we're not going to necessarily talk about all the components that go into a refrigerator, although if that's an interest, I'm more than happy to go into that during another video or another time. But let's go ahead and say that we have isolated down to the part where we've discovered that, yes, this component is bad. How could we go about testing it? What kind of tools might I use? So for the record, in the fridge, it looked something like this. Clearly, I've done some surgery on it, but we already knew that the fan was not turning, and the fan that was attached to this was detached. We got a new part. It was $25 or something, and so for more than $50 less than what it would have cost to get the other one up and going, we got a brand new fridge with a brand new fan in it, apparently. In any case, how could we go about testing this guy? And for that, we're going to need a couple of things. I'm going to recommend, if you don't already have one, picking up one of these cheap multimeters. They can be had online for as little as 12-ish bucks. I think this one may have been closer to 20. I'm not affiliated with anything that you see in any of these videos because nobody actually watched these videos, so I think I have to say that. I'm not sure. If you're going to be doing this professionally, I might recommend something a little bit different, like this Fluke 789, which is a wonderful meter, and this particular one has seen many a day. However, as neat as this one is, and as much as it can do, this one's going to set you closer to $1,200. And most of you watching this video probably aren't going to need anything quite so over the top, so for the rest of it, I am going to go through as if all I had was this little cheapo depot meter that I ordered online, because it's useful to have around the house, and if all you're doing is basic voltage measurements, these are fine. They really are. Also, to do this test, we're going to need to power this fan. Now, I will confirm for you, you may see red and black wires, and hopefully to some of you that screams something along the lines of DC voltage, maybe even something like 12 volts DC. Fairly common in car circuits and the like. As it turns out, you'd be wrong, but fortunately, they have a handy-dandy little sticker that I'll put up there. 115 volts, 60 hertz. We're in the United States. We use real electricity. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Doc, I've got 110 volts, or I've got 120 volts, which I say, good news, it's the same thing, more or less. And you probably don't. Anyway, other things that we are going to need. This is going to be by far the most dangerous thing I have ever shown on this channel. This is what is colloquially referred to as a suicide cord. Hopefully I'm allowed to say that. I don't actually know all the rules. As you can see, I've got a regular plug, and I have done some surgery and removed the ends over here. Now in AC, we don't particularly care which one is the line side and which one is the neutral side, but we could figure out which one's which if it mattered to us. And we are also going to use some connectors for this test. And I have a couple of different types to show you. These can be had at pretty much any Home Depot, Can be Lowe's, had, any of your... and they're relatively cheap, and there's no frills. Pretty much you stick the wire into the side of this guy, and it holds onto it. And in a pinch, these work just fine, and you can go get them pretty much anywhere. However, if you have the opportunity to get ahead of this, I highly recommend a product by a group known as Wago, who will probably make more appearances on this show. And these are spectacular, because you can actually lift up on the different levers there. This is a 3-port, and snap down, and you can quickly customize your electrical circuits, and I highly recommend them. It's, I want to say something like $20 for a box of 50 for the threes. I could be wrong on that. I apologize. Again, not affiliated, but highly recommended by me, the Automation Doctor. And so, to test this circuit, we know that that's 120, and we know that we want to use our cord to do some testing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cord, and I want to get rid of some of these dangerous bits right here. And so I'm going to take a Wago, and I'm going to open up a port, and we are going to place one of these into the port. Something like that. And now I don't have any stringies. I could touch this by hand and be just fine. For the record, I do believe that it is overkill for me to be wearing arc flash gloves for this exercise, but in the interest of safety second, we've talked a little bit about why safety can never truly be first. My other lead, right into the port, and we lock him down. This will not be my finest work, but there you go. I've got 2 ports on this guy, and the first thing that we can do is plug this in and make sure that we are actually getting 120 volts. If you are unsure of what you are doing, I cannot iterate this enough. Stop what you're doing and seek professional help. I am a professional. If you are not, acquire the skills to become a professional, and then proceed. Alright, we are plugged in. I'm going to put my handy dandy meter here. We are going to turn it to electrical AC, and I am going to plug into 2 of these ports, hopefully. Plug this in. Again, if you're unsure of what you're doing, please be careful or don't do it. Seek professional help. You can see I have 118 volts. Well, gee, Doc, is that supposed to be 120, 115, 110? All of the above, as it turns out. Pretty much anything within 5 to 10%. Don't worry about it. So now I'm going to unplug that, and I'm going to work on shuffling this around so we can attempt to test this motor. Alright, hopefully my cutaway works, and you can see that I've got my different ports wired into this thing. And we're going to try plugging it in to see if we get any spinning motion. Dead. And now we have confirmed this motor, well and truly under power, is in fact dead. And the good news, once I got the replacement part, put it right in, now I've got a brand new refrigerator, and for far less than it would have cost to replace the control board on my other one that was way too expensive. In any case, hopefully you get something out of this. If for nothing else, you can identify these cords, know that they are very dangerous, and that you need to be a professional before using one. But this is how you can test equipment, and often we do similar tests in the field. I hope you all have a good one. I will catch you next video.